Can we be honest today? I know it's popular to say that we play guitar for the love of music and we want to fit in with a band and serve the song and...
Well, you go out there and you give 110% and you want to play good and, you hope you play good.
But truth be told, at least part of the reason that most of us play the guitar is that we want to do stuff that's really cool and show off. So to that end, today I'm going to teach you 3 tricks for more beginner or intermediate players that sound really complex but are actually pretty darn easy to learn. In fact, I'd say that you can learn each of these basic techniques in just a couple of weeks, even if you've barely learned anything else on the guitar at all. And welcome to Music with Marky. Okay, so for this first one, we're going to make use of a basic open string pull-off and some picking to make it sound like way more is going on than there really is. I've got 4 measures of music here, and I'm going to show you the technique in a musical context. Now, I'm going to do more with the technique than just the beginner level on this, so you can see how far you might eventually take this stuff. But when we come back, I'll show you the basics of it, and you'll be flying in no time, I promise. Okay, it seems like there was a lot going on there, and it's just really made up of one very basic repeated technique, and I'm going to show you that and run tab along the top here. If you want to learn the entire line that I did there for the full 8 measures, I do have tabs for that available for all of my wonderful patrons on Patreon, and I'll put that link over here as well. But let's just break it down to the one very simple basic technique that gets repeated. This is all about playing a note, pulling off, and then playing the note twice to the open string. So in this case, I'm in B minor. I start with the note D, 3rd fret on the B string, and I pull off by pulling my finger down a little bit and letting the string snap off of my finger. So it goes from a D to an open B, and then I just pick the B twice. Da, 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 da. And that is the essential basis of the entire technique, and I'm just moving around. In this particular key, it works on the 3rd fret, 5th, 7th, 8th, 10th. As you can see, I can do it with one finger, and it just starts to sound like you're doing a whole lot because of the pull-off mixed with the picking. And if you start practicing this really slow, and just a little bit faster each time, sounds like there's a lot more going on than there really is, and I promise you, you can get this under your fingers quite quickly. Then, of course, as you saw at the end of that clip there when I got more advanced, and again, it's in the tabs for patrons, I start breaking it up into faster. I'm doing less picking of the open string and moving around and picking more fretted notes to make it more complex as I go, but the basic technique, as I said, is just that note, pull off, and then 2 times picked. For trick number 2, we are going to take the most fundamental part of Eddie Van Halen's Eruption and use it over the same 8 measures of backing music. Just like before, I'll play it all out, and then we'll come back and discuss the very most basic technique of it. So for something that's often considered one of the biggest milestones of guitar technique, the very basic part of it is not all that hard to learn. It comes back to hammer-ons and pull-offs again, and this time you're going to be using your pointer finger or your middle finger of your picking hand, whichever one you're comfortable with. For me, I take the pick, I kind of tuck it in my finger over here so that I can get my finger free, or you can just put the pick down, stick it to your head if you feel like. And for the basic technique, we're just going to look at fretting the 3rd note with my 1st finger on the left hand, or my fretting hand, and then I'm going to hammer on to the 5th. So my left hand is only doing those 2 notes. My right hand is going to start it all off by hammering the 7th fret. So I'm going to kind of press down on the string, I'm going to tap it, they call it tapping, and then I'm not just going to lift it off, I'm going to pull it off a little bit. And I have a whole video about this technique if you want to learn it, if you're having a little trouble grabbing it here, so I'll link that up here. But basically, the technique is very simply taking that note, in this case the 7th fret, pulling it off to the 3rd, hammering it on to the 5th with the other finger. and then repeating that over and over. And then I'm going to move which note I'm picking. I can do maybe 4 times each. And getting it to that kind of high speed that you heard. It sounds like it's so hard and so complex playing it, but just working in that repetitive motion, it's the same thing over and over again, and you'll get it pretty quickly if you start working on it. For our third and final trick here, you're going to get this thing going really fast while these fingers don't go so fast at all. I know it sounded like a lot, but doing this doesn't take all that long to be good at. The main thing about it is holding the pick without too much of it hanging out, and also the angle you attack the string at. Let me take a picture from the viewpoint looking down at the guitar so I can explain a little bit better. You'll see there that I barely have any pick hanging out past my thumb. It's just a tiny little bit of a point, and then when I attack the string, I'm not attacking it flat and completely perpendicular to the string. It's almost like 20, 30 degrees so that the point of the pick rolls over the string very easily. So once you have that picking down fast, which is called tremolo picking by the way, getting the rest of this is really quite easy. If I start here, say, with my first finger on the 12th fret and I'm just picking quickly, and I want to add the other notes in, it starts to sound like a lot is going on, but my left hand is really just doing, that's slow, with a lot of picking in between. And then on the video, I was moving to different positions. Which again, the left hand is really not doing a lot. You're just picking quickly and 16th or 32nd notes in time, and it sounds really fast when it's not all that fast and all that hard to learn. So there you have it, 3 tricks you can employ fairly quickly in your development as a player, and then you can expound upon it when you become more advanced too. Obviously, how quickly you get them under your fingers depends on how often you can practice and how you practice. I have a whole video on the best ways to learn quickly, and I'll link that here. And until next time, guys, keep making great music.
Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.